राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी, राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी, राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी। मुरलीधरा गोवर्धनुधारी, मुरलीधरा गोवर्धनुधारी, गोवर्धनुधारी। राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी, राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी। शङ्खचक्र पीताम्बर धारी, करुणासागरा कृष्ण मुरारी, शङ्खचक्र पीताम्बर धारी, करुणासागरा कृष्ण मुरारी। राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी, राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी। वेणु विलोला विजय गोपाला, वेणु विलोला विजय गोपाला, वेदागम मूल गोपाला, वेणु विलोला विजय गोपाला, वेदागम मूल गोपाला। राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी, राधा कृष्ण जय कुंज विहारी। गोविंद गोपाल देवकी सुतश्याम, गोविंद गोपाल देवकी सुतश्याम, नंद के लाल यशोदा के दुलार, गोविंद गोपाल देवकी सुतश्याम। गोवर्धनधारी केशव कालिंगनर्धन माधव, गोवर्धनधारी केशव कालिंगनर्धन माधव, गोपी प्रियजन वल्लभ, राधा माधव राधेश्याम, गोपी प्रियजन वल्लभ, राधा माधव राधेश्याम, गोविंद गोपाल देवकी सुतश्याम। गोविंद गोविंद गोकुल नंदन गोविंद, 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 गोकुल नंदन गोविंद, गोकुल नंदन गोविंद। राम नाम सुखदाई भजो रे मन, राम नाम सुखदाई भजो रे मन, राम नाम सुखदाई भजो रे मन,
राम नाम के दो अक्षर में सब सुख शांति समाई। राम नाम के दो अक्षर में सब सुख शांति समाई। राम नाम के दो अक्षर में सब सुख शांति समाई। भजो रे मन राम नाम सुखदाई। भजो रे मन राम नाम के कारण बन गई पागल मीराबाई। राम नाम के कारण बन गई पागल मीराबाई। राम नाम के कारण बन गई पागल मीराबाई। भजो रे मन राम नाम सुखदाई। भजो रे मन राम नाम सुखदाई। भजो रे मन जोगिया मेरे गलियाई कृष्ण नाम का। जोगिया मेरे गलियाई कृष्ण नाम का। मेरे गलियाई मैं बहु सुख पाई। मेरे गलियाई मैं बहु सुख पाई। जोगिया 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 मेरे गलियाई कृष्ण नाम का। जोगिया मेरे गलियाई। कंकण किंकिणी नूपुर बाजत मुरली मनोहर मधुर बजावत। कंकण किंकिणी नूपुर बाजत मुरली मनोहर मधुर बजावत। जोगिया 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 मेरे गलियाई कृष्ण नाम का। जोगिया मेरे गलियाई। झननन झननन पायल वाजत। तननन तननन तान उड़ावत। झननन झननन पायल वाजत। तननन तननन तान सुनावत। जनन जननन जनन जननन पायल वाजत। तननन तननन तान उड़ावत। जनन जननन जनन जननन पायल वाजत। तननन तननन तान सुनावत। मीरा कहे प्रभु गिरिधर नागर। जमुना के तट पर निरत करत उठ निरत करत उठ निरत करत उठ रंग उड़ावत। जोगिया 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 मेरे गलियाई कृष्ण नाम का। जोगिया मेरे गलियाई। भागवतं भागवतं श्रीमद्भागवतं। भागवतं भागवतं श्रीमद्भागवतं। श्रीमद्भागवतम् शृणुयांसि कृष्णवैभवम् प्रीत्या श्रीमद्भागवतम् शृणुयांसि कृष्णवैभवम् प्रीत्या श्रीमद्भागवतम् ध्यायांसि कृष्णवैभवम् 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 भागवतम् भागवतम् श्रीमद्भागवतम् देवकी नन्दन कालिङ्गमर्दन सर्वलोककारणं सकललोकपालकं देवकी नन्दन कालिङ्गमर्दन सर्वलोककारणं सकललोकपालकं जितेन्द्रियं मनोहरं नित्यशुद्धमुक्तिदं जितेन्द्रियं मनोहरं नित्यशुद्धमुक्तिदं भावयामि योगिनं पार्थसारथि शुभं भागवतं भागवतं श्रीमद्भागवतं भागवतं भागवतं भद्रा श्रीमद्भागवतं भद्रा श्रीमद्भागवतम्
Thank you so much, Anya and Sia. That was beautiful. Thanks for delighting all of us with those bhajans. The last several days, we've heard from the beautiful journey of Bhagavatam with Swami Sarveshananda ji, and I'll ask him to continue the discourse on the such meaningful and profound life of Prahlad.
Thank you both. The last one was really good. The song on Bhagavatam. If possible, send me the lyrics. That's really nice. So let us begin with 3 Ohms, Sahana Bhavatu, and the invocation. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयः यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमः निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात्। निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। Can you all hear me clearly? The story so far. Hiranyakashipu one day was sober and he called in his son Prahlada, and then, like any parent, he started inquiring, what is it that you are learning? What is it that interests you? How are you learning? And being the youngest one in the family, in Hindi they say Laad Pyar is a little extra. So he was given an extra dose of TLC. And he took him in his lap, hugged him tightly, and he was inquiring. And what did he say? He says, all this, Dad, is a mere waste. In fact, human pursuits should be focused on one and only one thing. And that, what is that? Get into solitude. Now here we have got this opportunity to be in solitude. And people say, Swamiji, it is psychologically becoming so difficult. If we don't change our ways, nature will change it for us. So he says, Vanam gataha yat harim ashrayet. I'll go to the forest and meditate upon Bhagavan Sri Hari. Now this suddenly like jolt. Hiranyakashipu called for the teachers, called for a sabha there and said, who in this ashrama, who in your Gurukula is teaching such nonsense? And these teachers were shivering up and they said, Beta, Prahlad, Who taught you like this? Who got your mind completely corrupted? So to that, Prahlad ji says, 5th Adhyaya, 11th shloka. Prahlada uvacha. Swaha paraha cheti sadgraha पुंसां यन्मायया कृतः विमोहित धियां दृष्टः तस्मै भगवते नमः। स यदा नुव्रतः पुंसां पशुबुद्धिर्विभिद्यते अन्ययेष तथान्योऽहम् इति भेदगता सती। That who broke this pashu buddhi in me. Who is it? What is pashu buddhi? Pashu buddhi, the one who makes this differentiation. Swaha paraha iti asadgraha. Mine, yours, will begin only when there is I and you. When this idea of this body, mind and intellect is me, and that body, mind and intellect that is functioning is you, and wherever this dichotomy comes in, this polarity comes in, samsara begins. See, to start politics, you don't need a lot of people. Give me 2 people, I will show you 3 parties. My party, your party, and for times of need, our party. And this politician was being interviewed and said, you never stay firm on any policy or any party lines. You are the most. And I said, no, please stop there. I have been the most truthful one. I have never changed parties. I have always been in the ruling party only. See, whenever there is more than one, confusion begins. So he says that buddhi which is differentiating, creating the differences that I, mine, you, yours, that itself is called pashu buddhi. That wrong identity itself is called the greatest sin that a human mind can do. Once you have caught that which is not real as real, in that unreal, what else you do will be considered as papa only. So that pashu buddhi, the one who is breaking in my head, that to that Bhagavan tasmai bhagavate namaha. And then he says, muhyanti yadvartmani vedavadinaha brahmadayo yesha bhinatti me matim. What you people are calling as that fellow who is destroying my buddhi, aka is also known as Bhagavan Shri Hari. He is not doing anything but leading me to the highest. And you are not understanding this even a little bit. Now, when this was the answer given, Naradji is saying, Etavad brahmana yoktva virarama mahamatihi tam nirbhatsyartha kupitaha sadino rajasevakaha. See, this is the beauty, that a Gurukula should not be state-run or in the hold of anyone. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam न्याय्येन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः. There, the last sentence, Brahmanas santu nirbhayaah. Brahmana should be nirbhaya. Brahmana meaning the one who is expert in that field of knowledge or wisdom. Should be nirbhaya. A teacher should not be somebody who is scared of who is sponsoring, who will give dakshina, who will not give dakshina. That is not the focus. That should not be the focus. It reminds me of a story, though on a sideline. Once, Puja Gurudev's yajna was to be organized, discourse was to be organized in Tirupati. And many of us I was studying at that time in Hyderabad, many of us said we will go on a cycle from Hyderabad to Tirupati and be there and serve Gurudev. 15 days before the yajna could begin, everything was to be organized by the TTD Devasthanam. TTD called up Gurudev and said, Swamiji, everything is fine, everything is being organized well. We have just one request. Please, in the end, don't ask for Guru Dakshina. How much ever you want, we will give it to you if you want beforehand itself. I mean, in those days, in the late 80s, or just about 89, I think, Gurudev said, no, I'm not interested. And they started bargaining. They said, how about 10 lakhs, 11 lakhs, something like that. In those days, 10, 11 is quite an amount. And Gurudev said, N-O. Which part of this N and O do you not get it? This is a sampradaya which will not be broken. And they said, then we are sorry to say we have to withdraw. We will not be able to organize it for you. So Gurudev called up, Yuva Kendra members from Chennai, Yuva Kendra members from Hyderabad, and said, guys, can you organize it? We have 15 days. So instead of cycle yatra, it became immediate yatra. So 2030 from Chennai, 2030 from Hyderabad, we all assembled, and then the first day he explained why this knowledge should not be a commodity that can be purchased. Because the moment it is liable to be bought for any amount, then you become dasa, and the one who is buying it becomes your boss. And the relationship between dasa and bossa, it's a very funny equation. Knowledge will not happen. Then you'll have to tweak the knowledge according to the taste of the crowd, which the boss says so. Poor fellow Shanda and Amarka were caught in such. They were Shukracharya's own sons, but yet now they were dasa of this kind of bossa. Sadino Rajasevakaha. Rajasevaka can never be Swachhanda. Rajasevaka is always Dinaha. At the will and pleasure of that king. So they were, literally shivering up. They looked at each other. Dude, when I was not there, did you teach this? They said, no, what are you saying? Let us both be on same platform. Neither you did nor I did. We'll have to find out. So Prahlada was sent to the Gurukula back, and the teachers scolded that Prahlada, and he had no animosity or hatred towards his gurus. He only wished that they would talk about Bhagwan and Bhakti. All that they would talk about is Kama, Artha, Dharma. There was no moksha as a concept. That was never taught. Does it sound anything similar? Anything familiar? This is exactly what is being educated today. In the so-called education system, other than these three, nothing else is focused. So Prahlada would miss that, but he would never have hatred for them. So when they scolded him and said, learn exactly what we are telling you. Don't try to be outsmarting us. He said, Ji, as you say, try me, teach. And whatever they taught, he learnt. They were happy. They said, okay, in this vacation, be careful. So they sent him back home. The mother received him. And she dressed him up after, snanapana, and said, your father was angry last time. Be nice to him. So don't worry, Amma. I will, fall at his feet, do my namaskara. Always namaskara has a chamatkara. And that should melt our father's heart. So So he went and he did namaskar to his father. And father gave him Ashirvada. Again, with lots of Vatsalya, he took him in his lap. And then he asked, so, Hiranyakashipu vacha, Prahladan uchyatam tata, swadhitam kinchid uttamam. So Hiranyakashipu asked, Beta, kuch acha bolo. Swa adhitam kinchid uttamam. Say something which you have learnt, which you think is really good, kuch acha bolo. This reminds me, after, the yajna is done, people take, us to Bhiksha, and then they ask, Swamiji, aap kuch acha boliye. Kya ab tak jo bola tha, wo acha nahi tha kya? It reminds me that. But here it was not that case. Because there was a prior instance and he just wanted to find, Beta, have you learnt anything good? I've been told that you have been given a very rigorous course on the Artha, Kama and Dharma. According to Artha, Kama. They changed the sequence, right? Dharma, Artha, Kama. They said first Artha, Kama, and then according to that Dharma. So, can you tell me something good? And what does Prahlada start? This portion is called Navada Bhakti according to Bhagavata Dharma. There is one more reference of Navada Bhakti in Ramcharitmanas, which is given as a dialogue between Sabari and Ramji. There are some which match, but it is not exactly the same mapping. Concept may have been taken from here by Sant Goswami Tulsidas ji. So what does Prahlad say? He says, he looks very eagerly to his dad and he says, Oh father, what I have learnt in so far in my life, and that which stands out as the uttama, that because you have asked, kuch acha boliye. So I am being truthful. The greatest thing that I have learnt is the following. What is it? Shravanam kirtanam Vishnoho smaranam padasevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam atmanivedanam. These 9 are called the Navadha Bhakti. How does one firm their bhakti abide in that bhakti so that jnana and vairagya can take complete root and grow, flourish. So he says, first it starts with Shravanam. Wherever there is Katha of Bhagavan Sri Hari, find that opportunity to be in that presence and listen and listen and listen. See, Bhagavan, we all keep saying this to our children also. We say, Bhagavan has not given earlids, he has only given eyelids. Imagine if there were earlids. As soon as our parents first time started scolding, instead of doing a mental block, you would have done an external block itself. Isn't it? Because even now, you don't know if they are hearing you or not. So therefore, we want to have the glimpse in their eyes, that spark of understanding when you're talking. When I am scolding you, I want you to look into my eyes. Do you say that? I'm just... Because you want to know whether they're hearing. Otherwise, if it's like Charlie Brown, that cartoon strip, when somebody is saying all that fellow hears is wah, 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 wah. So hearing happens because Bhagavan's design, ears are open. But listening happens only when I focus with Shraddha. Many of us tell our kids, demand it from our kids, focus properly. But we never teach them how to. Without that focus, how much ever you scream at them, how will they be able to bring themselves together to be able to apply themselves? Therefore, in our sampradaya, in our tradition, even when the child was barely 4 or 5 years old, when they cannot even pronounce Hari Om properly, you ask these 4-year-olds, I love spending time with that age group. Don't ask me to conduct class because I am already goofing off with them. Swami, Havi Om. They can't even say Ra. It is not Hari Om, it is Havi Om. And when their mood is right and they feel like saying it, they'll start blurting out. Many times parents drag that kid and say, tell Swamiji that shloka Vakratunda Maha. And that fellow is like, bwee, bwee, playing something. And suddenly when there is no pressure and he is into some other world, and in that world he is like, suddenly starts saying it. And what does he end up saying? What I end up hearing is, Vakratunda Maha, father is looking at me with such a pride, and mera bacha spiritual ho gaya, has become spiritual now. Right at that age, what would our elders do? Introduce this child who barely can pronounce to something called Gayatri Upasana through Upanayana Samskara. We think we have become sophisticated in our intellectualization. I call such people as neo-intellectuals. Neo-intellectuals gali hai. Why gali? New to intellectual field. See, instead of looking at the methods as ancient and archaic, with Shraddha try to investigate why the rishis must have emphasized that this should be introduced at that age. Because it involves pranayama, it involves mantrocharana in synchronization with that pranayama. Even when the student is taken to Gurukula after this Upanayana Samskara, the teacher does not start dumping knowledge on that fellow. First year or two, all that the teacher is trying to do is to connect with that student and make sure that the student in proper discipline is doing 3 times Sandhya Vandan. Pratara Sandhya, Madhyanika Sandhya, Sayam Sandhya. There are 5 Sandhyas in 24 hours. Of that 3 times, he would make sure discipline is maintained. And over the period of next 1-2 years, there is a bond that is established between the teacher and the taught. The teacher now understands the student. And in our sophisticated neo-intellectualization, we say, but Swamiji, the child cannot understand the meaning and the purpose of it. जैसे कि तुमको सब समझ में आ गया. बड़ा हुआ तो क्या हुआ, जैसे पेड़ खजूर. I'll not translate that. You ask someone. The purpose of introducing it at that age is not whether it is this or the Bhagavad Gita shlokas or various things that we teach. The purpose at that age is not for the understanding of it. Even at this age, our understanding fails at so many times. At 4-5 years, what are you expecting? Maybe because we are brown, we want them to be doctor right at that age. Meaning sharp and brilliant and doctors and engineers right from that age. The reason it was introduced is when the child sits in discipline and synchronizes that mantra with his breathing or her breathing, over a period of time, the mind that we have becomes sharpened, under accessible control, and now that mind, because it is available, it can be channelized. Without this preparatory term, we introduce them to everything. What a beautiful method. And I have not done much research. I'm not in that field. But my take on it is, if a child who is introduced to this system of accessing their own mind right at that age through this Sandhya Vandana, they would never have a need for ADD, ADHD medicines. Because they have learned how to channelize it already. Without knowing the Siddhanta behind, all that it matters is, am I sitting and regularly performing it? Now, with that focused mind, when I hear the words, I can pay attention to it, to the depth of it, to the purposefulness of it. So wherever there is Harikatha, it is not just going and sitting there as a professional listener. When I was living in Vijayawada, Chinmaya Mission, there is this a very beautiful environment. There was this place called Shiva Ramakrishna Kshetra. I think it is still there. They have a huge mandap, hall kind of a thing. And every so often, or every day rather, there would be one particular speaker who would speak on nothing less than Shankara Bhashya, on different things. And that is a tradition that they have been keeping for several tens and decades, I think. So one day they came to me and said, one of them had heard me speak on some Upanishad, Shankara Bhashya. They came and said, Swamiji, why don't you come? Brahmachariji at that time. Brahmachariji, why don't you come? So I went there. Early morning, 5:30 to 6:30. And then later I was told December time, nobody signs up with them. because it is winter times and in the morning 5:30 to 6:30 nobody comes. Good luck. I went there, and how many people attend? As I was going in, there were 2-3 of them who do the early morning walk till there. They're saying, I did namaskar and said, why are you not in? Like, you regularly come. Why? Today, Vinay Punyan led naina. We don't have the punya to listen to you. What happened? I am here. No, you are here, but there is no pillar. All the pillars are occupied. There is no support for our back. That is not called Shravana. That mindset is called professional satsangi. Shravana is where, with intensity, to soak my heart in tuning myself with that Bhagavan and his katha. Shravanam. Then Kirtanam, to sing the glories of that Lord. How? Just like a grandparent would sing the glories of his own or her own grandchild. They have absolutely no qualms. Whether it is a new place, whether it is an old place, whether it is a known crowd, unknown crowd, the moment they get an opportunity, what will they start doing? They'll introduce themselves. You know them? I am their father. My grandkid, you know, and they start, Re Baba. Janna pehchan tu kya meri mehman? I don't know you. I don't know your grandkid. But they have no qualms. They will, even if you are someone that they know and you have heard their stories about their grandkid the nth time, they don't care. You know, my kid will become a great scientist. So just to entertain them, I said, is it that you have decided or you see something in that kid? No, purely in that kid. Okay, how did you come to that conclusion? Just now we came and we brought him this, the helicopter. Within 2 days, he has taken every part apart. He wants to know how it is working. I mean, if it were the same thing done by the neighbor's kid, the same grandfather would have said, the neighbor's kid is a Rakshasa. But when it comes to your own grandkid, a scientist. And there is no shame, no qualms to sing the glories of their grandkid. Similar mindset is of the devotee. Not from the evangelical standpoint that, you will be now second chance, second birth, or second whatever they call. Therefore, you will sit down and listen to these glories when I am talking about. Where are you going? Sit down. Listen to me now. No. See, when your mind is, say, even if it is caught up in a song, you're going through a subway or you're going through the elevator and you are like, and sometimes it just comes out. And then you realize there are people around. And say, oh, sorry. But when your mind is in that zone, you don't care about what others are thinking or doing. You just keep humming it. Similarly is Kirtana, not for others' sake, not for bringing and, lifting them up. Even when we were taking Brahmacharya Diksha, Gurudev's message was very clear. Don't go out into the public now that you have this yellow or orange clothes, that you start making them sit and telling them this pravachana. That is not your purpose. If they come and sit, it is an added benefit. But it is more that you are speaking to your own mind loudly and committing to it. And those who are coming to listen to you, they will have every right to hold your collar and ask, you just spoke about it, what about you? Therefore, speak in public. So Kirtana is not for Janaranjana. I feel very odd when sitting in the temple and you're singing the glories of the Lord, and then suddenly the singers now have gotten used to the pattern. They'll stop, wait for others to applaud. Abhe, you're singing for the Jagadishwara in front of you. You should, the others, whether they are clapping or not, should not be the criteria. That's why Mirabai says, "Hai laaj nahi." I don't care for these qualms at all. Meera to magan hai nache re. And it is not for any applause of anyone. It is because I am intoxicated with that thought of Bhagavan, Kirtanam. Smaranam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho. Smaranam, Padasevanam. Many of us keep asking, right? How do we meditate on Bhagavan? First and foremost, shutting your eyes and sitting in one corner is not called meditation. We have to elevate ourselves really subtle way to be qualified for that. Initially, if you have seen On the Quest, the movie of Gurudev, when he was young, he used to see the murti that his mother was worshipping and sit down and create a play for himself in his head. And what would he be doing? He would imagine that Bhagavan in a complete three-dimensional live format in his heart. In fact, do you all go to temples? You go, right? So after the puja, archana is done, and the priest has given you back your half coconut, and you're still looking, that fellow took a bigger size. This is the smaller side. It's okay, you got it, prasada. So you come outside, and we are told by our elders, sit down for 5 minutes. What do we do those 5 minutes? Break that coconut, peel that banana, eat that, leave the trash there and go. Those 5 minutes, please, is not meant for that. See, at least thankfully, our ancestors, our elders, they gave us the process, though not the purpose behind the process. What is the purpose behind this process? You have just had a beautiful alankara, archana, arati of that Bhagavan. You've just had that fresh image of that in your mind. Sit down and carve it in your heart by going over it at least for 5 minutes. So that when you come back home and you think of that Bhagavan, that Bhagavan's Vigraha is live in your Chintana. Therefore, there are books like Tune in the Mind, Art of Contemplation by Puja Gurudev. I am specifically avoiding meditation and life. Tune in the Mind, Art of Contemplation, where Gurudev says how to focus our minds on that Bhagavan. Have that Bhagavan's murti at your eye level. See from toe to head, every single limb. Imagine that now it's like scanning it. I don't know if you have played around with 3D printers, with the software CAD cams and, scan the whole thing up. And then now you have created a digital image in your mind. Now enliven it with a beautiful smile, with a spark in the eyes. Now it's your imagination. In that there should not be any bhava daridrata. Now what is bhava daridrata? I'll explain it with an example. There was, this was a Balavihar camp, and we had taken those kids to the seashore. This was in Bombay. There were these two little kids. The sister was about 7 years old. The brother was 4.5, 5 years old, and they were sitting in the beach. You know, beach is place where people go into water or create castles or, you know, dig tunnels in that castle. They're there. But these two were busy playing house. So I was sitting in one corner and watching. So this sister is like depicting whatever happens at home, okay? So the sister is at home. The father of the house now comes home and is like taking his tie off and then throws the bag there and sits down and he says, "Suno, kuch khane ke liye hai? Something to eat." And the sister, does the action of pulling all things in front, and then there is no serving plate or anything. So she pulls that fellow's hand and takes some sand, puts it in the hand, and 2-3 times, and says, "Savere ki puri aur kal ki bhaji hai, khao." Morning's puri left over and yesterday's curry, eat. So that 5-year-old, he looks at his hand and he looks at his sister, and then he drops everything and he's mad. He says, "Didi, you're putting sand in my hand. Why cannot it be garam garam jalebi, garam garam laddu, garam garam bundi, garam garam pakode? Why does it have to be stale, old?" That mindset which the sister was stuck in is called bhava daridrata. You're getting it? If it is in your imagination, you're visualizing it, why not visualize the grandest and the greatest? Ratnai kalpitam asanam himajalaihi snanam cha divyambaram. Ratnaihi. And what do we do in our puja? Bhagavan, Ratna khajita hema simhasanam samarpayami. Tadartham akshatan samarpayami. Bhagavan's eyes are widening. Ratna khajita hema simhasanam. Kahan hai beta? And we are like, akshatan samarpayami. Bhagavan. This is in your bhavana. Let that bhavana be grand, epic. That the mukuta is beautifully adorning his head. And there is the kundala, and then there is the abhushana, and there is beautiful eyes. There is the tilaka delicately. Not like how we put on the photographs and that we don't know if it is Hanumanji or Ganeshji. There was a movie clip somebody was showing me. In that it is all darkened. And toka, torn down, they'll keep fighting. The tail or the tusk of Ganeshji. See, when we put chandan or kumkum or bindi on our forehead, don't we spend that extra 5 minutes to in front of the mirror? When it comes to Bhagavan, I literally feel in villages, the cow dung, they make cakes out of it, dry it. So they mix it with hay and splash it on the wall. It sticks to the wall and dries up. I feel that way. Chandan is taken and Bhagavan's face, anywhere, thop, you have covered his eyes, you have covered his nose, you have covered everything delicately. Imagine beautifully Chandan Alankara. And then the Vastra. Then the awesome, beautiful hands. And these are all multi-handed. So Astra, Shastra and various ornaments and instruments in their hands, and then the feet. This, once you have created that image, that visualization is live, then start your communication with that Bhagavan. Bhagavan, kaise ho? Every time I come to you, I am saying that, I am not doing all that. I say, how are you? Ekdam maje mein ho na? Speak to that Bhagavan as you would speak to any other individual. There should not be any bhava daridrata in that. When we say Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, how would you speak to your father? How would you speak to your mother? How would you speak to your friend? How do you speak to your closest one? In children's language, your BFF. Best friend forever. That Bhagavan is your BFF. That is called meditating on Bhagavan. Now you create scenarios that one day you are feeding him, one day you are teasing him, one day you are having elaborate spa treatment. Spa treatment is the Panchamrita Snana. Imagine that. That is called Smaranam. Then it says Pada Sevanam. And sometimes, whenever this Pada Sevanam comes into discussion, my mind goes to my few times that I had opportunity with Puja Gurudev. So he would be tired after whole day's work. And if I was around, he would say, bring your strong hands. And he would throw his legs. Because at that time, after 89, when I met him, he could not have feeling or sensation below his knees. And it would hurt. So he would say, Beta, press. And one day I pressed for about 40 minutes. And then he said, thank you. And he turned around, went back to his table, sat down. And I was standing there watching him. And I don't know, people were scared of him, but probably it was my age. I had no inhibitions around him. As though I had all solutions for life. When Gurudev went back to his table to start, writing letters again, so I said, Swamiji, your feet are hurting. Why don't you see to this tomorrow? Why don't you rest? So then he looked at me and he said, can you assure me there is a tomorrow for me? मैं क्या बोलूं? And then, after my speechless, stunned, then he readjusts his feet under the table and he says, Narayana is great. He has given my pain in the legs so that I can throw them under the table and work over it. Pada Sevanam. Taking care of that Bhagavan. This is also in your visualization. Archanam. Archana, daily connecting and educating the mind about the glories of that Bhagavan is called Archana. When we do the 16 steps of puja, there is one important portion wherein the priest is in a hurry, the devotee also is in a hurry. Because what we end up hearing is, what was that? And there is throwing of flowers happening. That particular step is for what? To educate this mind about the glories of that Bhagavan. Various stories are covered in representing through those names. There is Nirguna Tattva, there is Saguna Tattva. All of those are there in those 108 names, Ashtottara Shatanamavali. So 108 times you are repeating to your own mind. Don't rush through that process. Educate your mind. Om Ajaya Namaha. Om Avyayaya Namaha. When you're worshipping, let that remind your mind as to what that tattva means. That is called Archana. Archana is not a chore. If it were a chore, then we are expert at it. We are Kamchor. Kamchor in Hindi means those who want to find shortcuts. Why? Our minds are like jugad. For everything, there has to be a shortcut, an alternative. No, take your time, educate, let that mind soak in those glories of Bhagavan. It's like, when your friend comes home, who you have not met for so many years, and in between you have gotten married, you have kids, and you only said about that fellow to your family, but there was a good friend of mine. I don't know, we have lost touch. And that friend has come, and you have had dinner and you're sitting there. This fellow looks all serious now. When we were in college, Baba, this fellow was the naughtiest, and you start narrating those, and that fellow is all feeling awkward, and they stop it, man. The children, what will they think? And you are like in your full flow explaining it to them. What are you trying to do? That this person that is sitting right here, all these attributes, glories, and what has happened. Yes, you are being nostalgic, but with all these stories, what are you trying to do with those people who are in front of you, your family? You're trying to connect their minds to this person. That is called Archana. Archanam, Vandanam, to see that Bhagavan and to offer ourselves completely. And what is the beauty of that Sashtanga Namaskara? That when all the 8 limbs, Shirasa, Urasa, when all the 8 limbs are down in that Sashtanga Namaskara, there is not even a trace of, or there should not be even a trace of ego, because not even shadow can exist when you are lying down. Not even a trace of that shadow can exist. That is what it is indicating. And when we are touched with that Bhagavan in our heart, like the change, the transformation, which I believe happened in Arjuna, was in 11th chapter. And then Arjuna says, Bhagavan, not realizing, I have heard that you are Bhagavan, but I had not realized it to myself. And what all things I have done to you. I have called you things, I have done things. You are the Jagadishwara, and to you I have done things. He says, Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakheti, Ajanata Mahimanam Tavedam. I did not realize this. But please, forgive me for all of that which happened inadvertently. Sakheva Sakhyu, Piteva Putrasya Sakheva Sakhyu, Priyah Priyaryar Hasideva Sodhum. Like how a father will excuse his own child. Like how a beloved will, forgive his own loved ones. How a friend will forgive the other friend. Please forgive me for all that I have done. And then, Tasmat Pranamya Pranidhaya Kayam. And then Arjuna is doing Namaskara after Namaskara after Namaskara. Why? Now, when our heart is touched with that divine love, whenever that happens, you want to give. Have you ever fallen in love? Hey, Swamiji, kya topic hai yaar? No, I'm just asking, have you ever fallen in love? Just move your eyelashes. I'll get the hint. In those initial days, when you had anything that you see, if I could get this to my, she would love this. All your expression of love is only in giving, isn't it? Therefore, Gurudev says, you can give without love, but you cannot love without giving. So if you truly love, you want to give something. And what can you give to this Bhagavan? I cannot even say he has everything. He is everything. What can I give to that Bhagavan? Therefore, in utter sheer worthlessness, I said, Bhagavan, I am at your feet. I cannot give much, anything more than this. Vandanam, where that ego is ready to be given up. And therefore that head bends down. When people force their children and say, Swamiji ko namaskar karo, and that fellow will look at you and he'll give an emphatic answer. No. Once this happened and that mother had committed her kid and now was feeling awkward that that fellow truthfully rejected the whole plan. So this mother gets down to that child at his level and says, do you love mommy? He said, Then do namaskar. I said, stop. That is called emotional atyachar. That is called emotional torture. That is not the reason why or how you have to do namaskar. Namaskar is something which should come from that heart which has connected, and in that connection wants to give. In that giving, there is complete offering of oneself unhindered. Vandanam. And then you would want to do something for that beloved. Something and everything. And you're just waiting. What can I do for my... See, when you're in love, are you not secretly keeping notes on, what is the beloved's desire and what do they want, so that without their knowing, I can get those things and surprise them on their birthday or anniversary? Don't you put that effort? When for an ordinary human being itself, you are making such plan, now imagine when connected to that divine, you are looking for that opportunity. Rather, as Gurudev would put it, everything that you do becomes an act of devotion. He never addressed his paper, pen and pad on which he would write letters as paper and pen. He would always say, where is my puja saman? Because that is also a way to do archana of that, vandana of that, smarana of that Narayana. This is this service of that Narayana through that. And after you have connected to that Bhagavan within, Sakhyam, that is one friend who will never leave you ever. He has always been there. You just have to recognize it. Swamiji, I feel so lonely, Why? Everything is shut down. I am in my house. It is getting to me. I am getting agitated. Good. What good, Swamiji? You should say that, go out or, no, good. Good, because now you have an opportunity to transform loneliness into the joy of aloneness. Aloneness is born out of this strength that Bhagavan is always there. Loneliness is helplessness, is like a disease. And it is a sinkhole. But aloneness is dhairya. That Bhagavan is there always. I don't have to be scared about anything. As Guruji puts it, there are some things that Guruji says it so sweetly. He says, don't tell your Bhagavan how big the problem is. Turn around and tell your problem how big your Bhagavan is. And that somehow I have a caricature's mind. Okay. Somehow in my mind, the way I look at it is like how in the street, when we used to grow up, gully cricket, and if something were to happen and it came down to almost like punching each other, and the kids would claim, "Hey, bhai ko bolunga." Bhai is nowhere there. Bhai is older brother. But this fellow is threatening the other fellow on the confidence that don't you dare even touch me. My brother will take care of you. Same kind of mindset. When problems come, look straight into the eyes of that problem and say, hey, I have Bhagavan with me. कहाँ था वो? दीवार, तेरे पास क्या है? मेरे पास भगवान है. Do you know the dialogue that I'm talking about? I'm talking this to the parents only. Children may not know this movie. मेरे पास गाड़ी है, बंगला है, ये है, वो है. तेरे पास क्या है? मेरे पास माँ है. मेरे पास भगवान है. Even better. I don't need to be succumbing to these pressures. Why? Bhagavan is there. As long as Bhagavan is there, I don't need to have any fear about anything. Sakhyam. Atma Nivedanam. Complete surrenderance. This is what Ramana Maharshi ji in his Upadesha Sara in the last shloka he says, Mahadidam tapaha Ramana Vagyam. Take it from somebody who is reveling in that this is the greatest tapas. And what is it? Aham apetakam nija vibhanakam. To drop that ego, to let that completely dilute and merge. It is like Ramakrishna Paramahansa says it beautifully. Like the salt doll in search of its source comes to the ocean, and in that joy rushes into that ocean, only to realize that there is no more me left. जब मैं था तब हरि नहीं, अब हरि है तो मैं नहीं. Now, I took this much time to explain. As soon as this Hiranyakashipu heard this, he flipped out. He caught hold of these Shanda and Amarka with both hands and caught them and said, what is my son saying and what did I ask you to do? Is this what you are supposed to do? And they were like trembling like leaves. Guru Putra Uvacha. What did they say? Namat pranitam na parapranitam suto vadatyesha tavendra shatro. Hey Indra Shatro, the one who has destroyed Indra. Hey Hiranyakashipu, neither did we teach nor anyone else in the ashram. We have inquired. We have nothing to do directly or indirectly with your child and your child's mindset. These fellows must have been in the litigation laws, in fine print that they write. They were saying that fine print. We have got nothing to do directly or indirectly with your son's condition. He seems to have been swaprerita. It is something that he is carrying forward, which we have no clue where he is getting this information from. And this so beautifully said, not that they would have accepted it in front of Hiranyakashipu. This so beautifully said, definitely it was neither one of us. It could not have been. So please spare us. So when the gurus also said this, and this Asura, Hiranyakashipu, looked at his son and said, "Who taught you this kind of nonsense? Kuto abhadra sati matihi. This kind of nonsense, who has taught you this?" Prahlada uvacha. With all quietude and calmness, he says, "Oh dear father, all these who are stuck in this samsara, how are they? They are like punaha charvita charvananam." 30th shloka, last line. Punaha charvita charvananam. Pishtapeshana Nyaya, this is called in Nyaya Shastra. What are we doing? He says we are only experts on chewing on to something which has already been chewed and there is no rasa in it, and we still continue to find different methods, hopefully, to keep chewing on it. This again takes my mind to the quest. There is this young fellow that comes to Gurudev and says, "Why did you give this world up?" And that fellow was chewing gum. So Gurudev looks at him and says, "How long will you keep chewing this gum?" He says, "Until the flavor lasts. And once it has lost its flavor, I'm going to spit it out." Good. I also chewed enough on this world. Finding it insipid, I found that which has the true essence. But many in this world, O Father, almost everyone, what are they doing? Charvita charvananam. They are chewing on that which they already know is a dead end, which is going to disappoint them, but still hopefully they keep going towards it, expecting that it would give me ananda, it would give me security, it would give me peace. None of this can ever give that to anyone. I tell you, father must have been like, "बात तो सही है, but that was not my question." But our Prahlad ji is in his flow, and he says, and the wonders of wonder, ascharya of this samsara is, "Andhe naiva niyamana yatha andhaha dhandram yamanaha pariyanti mudhaha." This comes in the Upanishad. So that Upanishadic knowledge he is giving here. He says, "Andha yatha andhaihi upaniyamanaha vachi shatatantyam marudam nibaddhaha." He says, "Oh Father, it is not only that we are chewing on that which does not have any sara in it. We are also leading as though leaders of the society, everyone into the same blinded dead end. Like how a blind is leading the other blind, not knowing where they are going to the same dead end generation after generation after generation. They are locked in the same loop again and again and again." As I said, Hiranyakashipu was saying, "Ha, wo baat to sahi hai, but who taught you this?" He's still stuck in that. Don't deviate from the question that I have asked. That is what he must be yelling. But Prahlad ji is in his flow. He says to his father that, "Oh dear father, in this world, if we are searching for satisfaction or joy, peace or tranquility, world cannot provide it to you. Only that who connects to that within alone can find it. After having said this, and then he makes one more sentence. He says, and you have to make that choice to turn to the feet of Bhagavan, otherwise there is no hope. And then he stood there silently. And it was not to agitate his father. He was truthfully asking and he truthfully answered. But father, he was now, eyes were red. He was, with rage. See, anger is this level. Rage is that level. He was kampana. Kampana is like he was shivering with that rage. That Vishnu who I wanted to kill, wanted to avoid, who has destroyed our family, my own son now has become his greatest devotee. Not acceptable. In fact, he turned around to his yes men and said, destroy this fellow. I have nothing else to do with this fellow, because someone has come in this form only to taunt me, and I cannot take it anymore. I don't care who it is. He should be destroyed. A father talking about his own son. As soon as this was said, the others, they were ready to only please Hiranyakashipu. They were not even like, "Ayyo, bechara, bachcha hai, chota hai," nothing like that. They jumped in with their trishulas, khadga, whatever they had sharp in their hand and tried. And what happened? Nothing happened to this Prahlada. Nothing could touch this Prahlada. Then Hiranyakashipu, this definitely not my son then. Something strange is happening. If he is not he's not touched by even this Trishula, then find a method to be done with this fellow. So they got, and now you talk about childhood trauma. Compare it to this. He got elephants to crush this kid. Elephants looked at this kid, did pradakshina around this kid and went away. He was thrown in a snake pit. Snakes were scared of this Prahlada, were in one corner until Prahlada was brought out. Let alone to think that the snakes came and bit him. They did not even come close to him. They were in one corner. He was thrown off the cliff. That is when probably Prahlada must have sung in his heart, I believe I can fly. I'm already touching the sky. Nothing happened to him. He was thrown into waters. There is a strange thought that is happening these days, originating in India, even here in many universities I hear. Whenever there is Holi, there are people who send these, Baba, WhatsApp is not a university. Stop forwarding those stupid messages. They say Hiranyakashipu was a Dalit king and it was atrocities against women. Holika was killed. And that is why the upper caste celebrated as Holi. That is not what is the message. Hiranyakashipu was the son of Kashyapa Rishi and Diti. It is Diti, not Dalita. Not knowing these facts, people like, Swamiji, how to answer this? Go read the Purana. It is not a myth. Read the Purana. And Holika is not the oppressed. Holika was the one who took this child into fire with the intent of killing the child. She died. Nothing happened to Prahlada. It was going beyond his hands. So, seeing this Hiranyakashipu frustrated with all these attempts for so many days at end, nothing coming to picture, then Shanda and Amarka, they come and say, how about we put him under Varuna Pasha, 50th shloka. Imam tu pashair varunasya vadbha nidhehi bhito napalayate yatha. Once we put him in that Varuna Pasha, and that will make him bound to stay in the ashram, he cannot escape. So that, if this goes out as an information that your own son is the greatest worshipper and proponent of your enemy, that will be even worse. So let us put him in here, tie him down. And maybe in future when he grows up, he will change. Let us tie him down with Varuna Pasha, with the mantra bala, we'll tie him down. So they tied him down into the ashram that he could not step out of the ashram. One day when he was tied into the ashram, Shanda and Amarka had to go because, the city mayor declared that, there is uplift. I mean, the lockdown has been lifted. So now you can go in purchase and things. So they had some grihastha karya. So they had to go out for some purpose. One day it happened that. So when such situation happened, he was sitting in joyous disposition. Prahlada was sitting in the ashram in joyous disposition. And one by one, these kids, as magnets, came to Prahlada. And one of them said, "Hey Prahlada, how is it that you have gone through so much and still you have that beautiful, innocent smile on your face? What keeps you going? Your own father has been attempting to kill you. What keeps you going?" The entire 6th chapter is a beauty in itself. Entire 6th chapter. Shloka by shloka, you can do a Jnana Yajna on it. There's such depth in it. I'll quickly touch upon it. Don't look at me like that. अब 2 दिन बाकी है. 15 चैप्टर खत्म करने हैं. Run rate ज़्यादा है. But I'll touch upon the important parts. He says, "Oh dear friends," and look at how he starts in this 6th chapter. Durlabham manusham janma. This human life is the most rarest thing that we can ever be born in as. Have you read Viveka Chudamani in your study groups, or at least listen to Gurudev's Vivek Chudamani on DVDs? The very 3rd shloka, Durlabham trayame vaitat, is what are the 3 things that are durlabha? Manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayaha. To be born as a human being is the greatest of the rarity that can ever happen to a Jivatma. And this Manava Janma, the purpose of Manava Janma Please pay attention. Listen carefully. The greatest devotee of Bhagavan, stating it out for everybody's clear understanding, is not to various professions or accomplishments. That is not the purpose of human life. That is only an external expression. What is the purpose? Purpose is ekamatra. Vishnoho padopasarpanam. To reach to the heights of devotion wherein your life is dedicated only to Bhagavan. Nothing else. And then with that devotion, when jnana happens, to abide in that core of our own existence, which is that Satchidananda, which is Paramatma. Clearly given. But still we come back. Frequently asked questions. What should be the purpose of our life? So, eka eva karana. Eka eva matra. What is that? To realize this truth, that is the purpose of human life. Nothing else. Rest of it becomes later. And he gives the logic for it. He says, by prarabdha, that which is to come as your sukha dukkha will come anyway. Why do you have to put the tapatraya for it? Sarvatra labhyate daivat yatha dukkham ayatnataha. It will come ayatnataha. Why do you have to strive for it? Your prarabdha will bring you those experiences. But what we end up spending is our entire life in trying to dig that prarabdha which is anyway coming and feel justifiedly accomplished, saying, I have done it. That is why Bhagavan is standing like this. Why? This means not a high five. This means stop. Stop your foolish thinking. And if you don't, he's saying, Ek lagaunga kaan ke niche. This is for top spin. Ayatnahataha, that which is coming, tat prayasaha na kartavyaha. Don't try to waste your life to try grabbing that which is anyway coming to you. If somebody is knocking on your door to come and wish you on your birthday and they are bringing a gift, what will you do? Scheme, plan, hide behind windows, doors, open it slightly, and as they come, take your bat and beat them and then snatch it from them and say, now I got my gift. Arre Buddhu, that was being brought in only to be given to you. You don't need to have to put that kind of effort. Isn't it? Samajh rahe? Tata prayasaha na kartavyaha. What are we doing? Ayuhu vyayaha param. We are wasting our life. Anyway, that life where in tamas 50% of it is gone. Meaning in nidra. The later part of 20 years, the last 20 years of life, to which many of us postpone our spirituality. Why? Vedanta is meant for Vedanta. Vedanta means those who don't have teeth anymore. They have to sit and then start studying, trying to put effort. Can't read that fine print, you know. Buddhe ho gaye ho. Better luck next life. 20 years is gone in all kinds of ailments. The first 15 years is lost in being a child. Then next few years are lost in trying to impress. He impressing she impressing her, whatever. Or whoever rather. Balastavat Kridasaktah, Tarunastavat Tarunisaktah, Vruddhastavat Chintasaktah. Same thing that Adi Shankaracharya ji must have control X, control V from here. Surdas ji also says, Bal samay khel gavayo, jab yavvan maan ghanare. In Yavana, when you are youthful, then we have the IKEA attitude. I know everything anyways. So don't waste your time into such things. Mugdhasya balye kaumare kridato yati vimshatihi jaraya grasta dehasya yatyakalpasya vimshatihi. In 20s of sets, he's saying 20 years, 20 years. If a human life is 100 years, half of it is gone, 50% of it is gone in Nidra. Then another 20 years have gone into the childhood. Then 20 years of the later part wherein you cannot do anything. Ab bacha kitna? In that 10 years which is left, what are we doing? Dura purena kamena mohena chabbali yasa shesham gruhesha saktasya pramattasya payatihi. The 10 years we are sitting on a hot seat of what is blowing that heat? Kama vasana. That 10 years also lost. So he's saying, in that effective 10 years that we have, instead of wasting, so blunt and straightforward that he's giving this. He says, Tyajeta kosha, 13th shloka. Please mark it and read the meaning also later. Tyajeta kesha sakradi vehamanaha karmani lobha davivrtrupta kamaha aupasthasya jaikvyam bahumanyamanaha katham virajyeta duranta mohaha. There are many animals, because they don't have control on one indriya, they die. We have no control on any indriya. Of that, he says, the organ of procreation and jihva, the tongue. The one who has not gained control on these two, and the one who has not focused on disidentifying from this body, mind and intellect, where will he find peace? And without peace, where will he find ananda? If you say that the world of things are already giving you ananda, if you already have that ananda, why are you seeking the very next day in newer realms? Because what you have gotten is not ananda, therefore you are searching for it again. That effective 10 years that you have, that also you are losing it in this. Therefore, oh dear ones, do not... this can be interpreted two ways, okay? This is, do not get influenced by this kind of daitya mindset and engage yourself only in these animalistic tendencies. Did he call the daityas as those who are having the animalistic tendencies, or those who are having these animalistic tendencies can be qualified to be called as daitya? Who is he talking about? What a beautiful executive way of mapping the entire life. Say 100 saal, 100 years, 50 gone, 20 in old age, 20 in younger age. Bacha kitna? Even in that 10 years, he is being very liberal. He is not taking time off on eating, drinking, partying. He is not taking any time off there. Even if you have that 10 years, that 10 years is spent on useless things, expecting the most useful thing. This is one thing that will definitely give you that, but you will never take our minds to that higher thinking, but keep caving in to these lower impulses again and again and again. Therefore, don't give in to this kind of lower. 24th shloka. Tasmat sarveshu bhuteshu dayam kuruta sauhridam asuram bhavamun muncha yaya tushyatya dokshajaha. Therefore, what should you do? Make sure that this life that we have is such a rarity, we are not assured that next life will be a human life again. Therefore, use this opportunity, whatever time left, in turning our minds to that Sri Hari alone. This incident happening was reported to Hiranyakashipu. Not only that he is spoiled, he is spoiling the others as well. There was a protest outside the White House, outside the palace. Inadvertently, it is slip of tongue. So outside the palace, there was a protest. And now Hiranyakashipu says, I have been waiting patiently. This has gone beyond all the limits. And so that part will come. And tomorrow is the most interesting because we get to see two aspects. One, Satsanga Prabhava, and second, tomorrow Bhagavan Nrsimha Bhagavan is going to come. So both of that we'll cover tomorrow. Thank you. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Satish ji or Suresh ji.
Thank you, Swamiji, for our immense gratitude for another profound pravachan. It's hard to believe that tomorrow will be even more interesting. So we look forward to that. Can I ask, tomorrow will also be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the same Zoom link. So please join us for that. And then we'll conclude on Saturday. And for the Arati, can I invite Pallavi?
मंगलारति प्रिया प्रीतम की मंगल प्रीति रीति दोन की मंगल कांति हसनि दसनन की मंगल मुरली बीना दून की मंगलारती मंगल बनिक त्रिभंगी हरि की मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की मंगल छबिन नयन में नट की मंगल आरती मंगल जटापि अंग अंग की मंगल गौर श्याम रस रंग की मंगल तिकटि पियरे पट की मंगल चितवन नागर नट की मंगल आरती मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की मंगल माधुरी मृदुल बेन की मंगल वृंदावन मग अटल की मङ्गलक्रीडन जमुना तटके मङ्गलारती मङ्गलचरण ऋणतरुवनके मङ्गलकरनि भगति हरिजनके मङ्गलजुगल प्रिया भावनके मङ्गल श्रीराधा जीवनके मङ्गलारती मङ्गलारती।
श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की
जय।
जय। थैंक यू पल्लवी।
हरिओम स्वामी जी, नमस्ते।
नमस्ते। हरिओम।
Hariom,
See you all
everyone.
tomorrow. Hariom.
Yeah.